Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Star Wars Celebration recap from day one. Um, it's going to be Alex and I because Star Wars Celebration announced um, at the main panel of the day that they're going to have a premiere screening of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So Mike and some of our other members of the team are going there to cover that. But we don't want to keep waiting because you really care about what we feel about the show. So um, I'm joined with Alex. He was actually at the big panel today, and I was not. I ran into the shore and then had to run to Disneyland to cover a different event. So, but I got to follow along on Twitter. And Alex, it seemed like it was really cool.
Yeah, the big Lucasfilm Studio showcase today. It was really cool. It was a lot. It was so much that afterwards, Mike, we were recording like quick audio for his podcast, Who is the Boss? And I was having a hard time spitting back out everything I had just seen because over the course of that 2 hours, they really covered a lot. They started with Obi-Wan. Obviously, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen took the stage, and the big moment. They let them just kind of stand there for like a minute and let everyone kind of go nuts. Everyone got on their feet. And it's funny to see like what 20 years can do for a movie, to go from like Attack of the Clones, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary at this Star Wars Celebration, which is, most people agree, either the worst or the second worst of the prequel trilogy, which like as a whole was not well revered as a trilogy, but now like we've come 20 years later and people love it. So the sequel trilogy, I think we'll see the same thing in 20 years. And then they brought out more members of the cast. They brought out the director, and they announced that they would be premiering the 2 episodes tonight at Star Wars Celebration. So we're not going because we're going to a D23 disco party. We bought tickets for that. So we will catch Obi-Wan on Disney Plus like the rest of the world tomorrow morning. But yeah, so that was really cool. They really showcased a lot of Andor. In addition to unveiling the trailer, I don't think this was announced before, correct me if I'm wrong, that it would be multi-seasons. No. And part of the trajectory of that, Diego Luna Diego Luna was there, and talked about how the Cassian Andor that you will meet in the series is very different from the Cassian Andor that you met in Rogue One. And over the course of this season, the series, which I think they said is going to be 3 seasons of 12 episodes, you're going to see his transformation from a fairly selfish person whose world was destroyed by the Empire, who then decided he would join the fight to take them down. So the trailer definitely gave you vibes of that. That's available online now. There's that for everyone to see.
What was the reaction like?
Oh, it was ecstatic, and everyone was super excited. Obviously, Rogue One. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but like in my opinion, Rogue One is one of the strongest things that this film has done in the Disney era. And so I think everyone has a lot of passion around that and is excited to see Andor. Plus, I think that's an exciting time in the Star Wars saga as well, between episode 3 and 4. That's where Obi-Wan's going to live as well. It's where Rebels lived. So I think a lot of people have a lot of affinity for that in between prequel and original trilogy.
So now, to be clear, this is Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
But the panel was built as a Lucasfilm presentation.
Exactly. So that also included Willow. Obviously, we had, what's his name? Warwick Davis there at the presentation to help promote it. Also, you had Ron Howard, and I forget the name of the producer on the Willow series. He was there as well. They worked together on Solo, a Star Wars story. So they did reveal that is sort of where the first conversations about doing a Willow series started, was while they were filming Solo or finishing Solo, however the case may be, since it's not 100% there. And then, we got to see some first footage. They brought out some of the cast. I can't remember the girl's name, but she played Enfinn's Nest in Solo. She played the conflicted character in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She is in this. So there was a lot of applause for her when she came out.
And then it transitioned back to Star Wars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, back to Star Wars to announce the details for the next Disney Plus series, which I'm drawing a blank on the name. Do you have it off the top of your head?
The I don't know which one it was next, but the Skeleton
Crew, which is being helmed by the director and producer of Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, Mark Webb.
Yeah, Mark Webb. Thanks, I don't know names. And then so really what we got from that was the title and the casting announcement that Jude Law is going to be in it. This series is based around a group of youths, so it skews a little bit younger than some of the Star Wars stuff that's come out. But Mark Webb made it very clear that even though kids are part of the focus of the series, it doesn't mean that it's just for kids. And Dave Filoni was on stage at that point, and he even made a joke that, like, yeah, they said the Clone Wars was for kids, and we cut people's heads off every episode. So, he made a pretty funny joke there.
When Vanity Fair, where we first, like the article that came out, that we first got wind, we didn't get the name or who Jude Law or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of said it was a tribute to like an emblem of the film of the '80s, like basically Goonies is what I think many people would think of. Oh, sorry, John watched. Mark Webb was the other guy.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Kyle, keeping us honest.
Kyle will be here, but he has to eat. So that looked cool. Like that's like the big news show, right?
Yeah. That was probably the biggest reveal. We got to see a little bit of concept art, and then obviously the Jude Law casting announcement, and then the other kind of big-ish reveal was John Williams, who's celebrating his 90th birthday, took the stage. This was a big surprise. They peeled back a curtain. There was a full orchestra. John Williams came out, and I don't think this had been announced, but John Williams wrote a theme for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is going to be featured in that Disney Plus series that premieres tomorrow or tonight at Star Wars Celebration if you're going. And if you're going, why aren't you there? And if you're going, you shouldn't even be watching us because you should be in line. And but so he first conducted that whole symphony. I actually just uploaded that to YouTube, like within the past 30 minutes. So if you're watching us, you can go to the Laughing Place YouTube channel. I recorded the whole entire performance that John Williams gave. So it was the premiere of the Obi-Wan score that he wrote for the show. Then he did the Indiana Jones theme, which transitioned into Harrison Ford taking the stage.
So I have a question. So you're hearing the new Obi-Wan theme, which I'm sure sounds Star Wars, but it's new to you.
Yep.
And then, I know we talked about how they talked about Willow, but then suddenly they're Raiders, and did people catch on why they were playing? Like, what was the reaction once that started? So
John Williams, he finished the Obi-Wan score, and then he turned around and he says, it basically became like a concert. And so he just said, I'm going to play something else that it's not Star Wars, but it is Lucasfilm, and it's one of my signature songs. So he turns around and he does the dun 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 dun. And so when that finished, some people I think had started to, you could hear murmurs. In fact, probably in our video, because I had a fairly vocal couple behind me throughout the whole presentation. You can probably even hear them like hush hush, like whispering about what they think is going to happen. But sure enough, it did happen. Harrison Ford took the stage. Congratulated John Williams on his 90th birthday. They announced the release date for Indiana Jones 5.
Which is the same release date that they had previously announced, but for some reason it's new, like they're committing to it. So It's kind of like, it's not new.
They did say they're almost done filming. Yeah. So I think they can probably say like with certainty it'll come out on that date, which is December something 23. And but they did not reveal a title, which was one of the things Mike, who is covering the Obi-Wan screening, so he's not with us, our Star Wars expert. But one of the things that he was expecting in that moment, he kept like waiting for it. He had Twitter up and ready to like tweet the title, and they never announced a title.
Indiana Jones and the
not announced title, and so there was that. Now I have been like, I went from panel to panel, so I really haven't had a lot of time to like even check what else happened, but maybe
Well, so I will point. So you recently did Galactic Star Cruiser, right?
Yes.
And so at Galactic Star Cruiser, before you get on, they play a video telling you what Star Wars universe alarm sounds like,
Oh,
and what real alarm sounds like. So you had what I understand to be a fascinating presentation about the score of Attack of the Clones.
yeah.
And you heard an in-universe alarm?
I heard a real world alarm. It was not like an alarming alarm. It wasn't like a fire alarm. It wasn't a wah, wah, but it was and so the presentation I was at, the person who was speaking, said, "Oh, this is not part of my presentation." And then an announcer came on and said, you know, it was like an automated voice alarm, said, an alarm has been activated. Please calmly and quickly exit the convention center. So, you know, everybody in the room that I was in evacuated. I went out a back entrance. I'm not gonna lie, it was scary at the time, just because we didn't know what was going on, and there's been so much crazy stuff in the news cycle lately. So I was thinking the worst and trying to find ways to leave the Anaheim Convention Center out a back quiet entrance that wouldn't divert me to like a major area. That's what you try and do in these kinds of situations. It ended up being a non-event. It sounds like, but I don't know this officially. An alarm got accidentally activated. They never made any kind of an announcement once we were outside that it was all clear to enter the building, but like doors opened and people just started going back inside. So I followed the lemmings and went right back to my panel on the music of Attack of the Clones, which was fascinating. It was mostly focused on Across the Stars, but about the anatomy of Across the Stars and how John Williams basically reverse engineered because it was the prequels. And so he took elements of Leia's theme, elements of Luke's theme. He combined them into a minor key. And then he also took elements of the Dies Irae, that like You're Doomed stanza of music, which he used in the Empire March. And so he kind of folded in bits of that. So basically, musically, Across the Stars is telling a story of the doomed parents of Luke and Leia by combining their two themes, which was interesting. So that's like the short version of that whole presentation, but it was really cool.
And which is one of John Williams' favorite pieces he wrote.
Yeah, he routinely, like when you go see him at the Hollywood Bowl and he's doing mostly his music from movies, Across the Stars is one that he loves to put on his set list.
So I'm just going through the list of what else happened. So we should mention Jeremiah right now is at the Mandalorian. We kind of glazed over Mandalorian, but there's a Mandalorian Plus panel on Saturday. However, so they did announce that there was going to be a exhibit, which Jeremiah is at right now. You can see, I see he's tweeting some pictures from it. We'll have full coverage of that once we get out of it. But also, Trisha for us covered a panel with McDermott, the Emperor, as well. So once everyone has a chance to post things, we will get that up. And then Mike attended panels on publishing about Star Wars: The High Republic and publishing in general. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you did attend a Collectibles panel.
Yeah, the Collectibles presentation was representatives from some of the higher end Star Wars collectibles, which I don't personally look to all that often. But things. Oh, hello.
Here, we can turn to.
So brands like Diamond Select, Bandai Namco, some of those higher end things like Proplicas. Regal Robot was they saved them for the last of that presentation. And their stuff, for the most part, is recreations of things in the Lucasfilm archives. So one of the items that they have for sale at the convention this time, it's Max Rebo maquette that was created that the puppet was based on. So it doesn't look exactly like screen accurate Max Rebo, but it's, if you know your Star Wars history, you would be intrigued by that. They talked a little bit about some of the event exclusives. They did a lot of giveaways during that panel. So it was interesting. I will be doing a write-up on that for anyone who may be a Star Wars collector or be curious to know what some of those new items are. There was also a lot of future focus of that are coming. But personally, I don't collect things that are very big. So like I usually stick to things more like Hasbro figures, which this wasn't focused on. I think we are getting more coverage from Hasbro during the series, but I tend to skew more towards the like less expensive items. So I'm a Funko Hasbro kind of guy.
So neither of us were at the publishing panel, but I just want to talk about some of the announcements. So as you may know, the first phase of High Republic's over, and they're transitioning to a second phase, which actually takes place before the first phase.
It's a prequel phase.
Right, that's how Star Wars works. So they have a new High Republic novel called The High Republic Convergence, featuring Knight that's coming in October 2022. George Mann, who actually has been a guest on Who's the Boss, is doing an audio book or an audio drama, whatever you call an audio book original.
He's writing a script
called The High Republic: The Battle of Jeddah, which seems to be getting a little bit more prominence, which will be available in 2023 for the book, and then a hardcover version of the script will be available in February. And then a book called High Republic Cataclysm, know nothing about it, is coming spring 2023.
I'm going to guess it's going to have a cataclysmic event.
Perhaps that would seem to make sense. And I know the comics are also getting into the High Republic new phase as well. So expect to see kind of Mike, who's all over the High Republic ever since the Project Luminous days. We'll be having full coverage of that once he's not watching Star Wars.
Are they going to do like Dr. Afra as a baby during the High Republic?
I think she's not that old.
Oh.
But so yeah, I mean, so Star Wars Celebration is a little bit weird, where it has like a big sort of news panel, but it's got a lot of great panels, like Alex was talking about from Attack of the Clones, or that are not necessarily newsy, but interesting if you're a Star Wars fan. And there's been plenty of cosplay, a lot of great stuff on the show floor. In fact, check out our article discussing some of the merchandise coming to Disney parks. Once again, perhaps the most interesting merchandise is not actually Star Wars. It's the Indiana Jones merchandise that's coming later this year. But
you can finally own a crystal skull.
I know that's been everyone's thing.
Crickets.
And there we go. So yeah, so I'm strolling through our Twitter just because we have a army here. The Universal Tribute store is not at Star Wars Celebration. There is art of the High Republic book coming as well. So despite that they're novels, I guess there's
but there's a cohesive mission behind them to make everything fit harmoniously. So even though it's a lot of different artists contributing to the High Republic covers, and some of the books have artwork within the pages, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and there's other books coming that are outside of the High Republic, including a book called Padawan, The Princess and the Scoundrel, Shadow of the Sith, Mandalorian comics, a comic book about the Rancor Pit. So there's a whole lot going on, and this is just day one. So we have more coming. Mandalorian Universe, Mandalorian Ahsoka, we expect to hear more about on Saturday. Tomorrow, Light and Magic, the documentary series about Industrial Light and Magic, is headlining. And then
Ron Howard wore a hat from it today.
Oh, that's cool. And then that's Saturday. Sunday is
Sunday.
Bad Batch. Oh yeah. So animation, which we have heard almost nothing about. Everything today was live action. So.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, there wasn't a single animated thing other than Dave Filoni is always animated.
And Cal wants to know if Jeremy's our housekeeper.
Turn down service. So I'm going to jump in here since I'm the only person who waited an hour and a half for the Mandalorian experience, which I would wait 3 hours for that. They have
good because you were complaining about waiting an hour.
Yeah, I know. No, I would wait long. I wait a long time. It was amazing. They have costumes from Mando, Boba Fett. They have the full throne room. one of the great things is they have like the droid that was always behind Boba Fett, and they have the control rods, and they have a mannequin wearing the gray suit that was running the control rods for the thing. So it's not just, oh look, here's costumes. It's here's behind the scenes of these cool costumes. They have Bo-Katan's costume. The part that everybody was staring at was they had Ahsoka's hilt. So, and they were in this small cabinet right in front of her costume. It was definitely one of those things like I wanted to spend more time, but if I didn't get out of there, I was going to pass out.
And John Favreau too, when he announced that presentation, he mentioned that there was merchandise there. Did you see any merchandise?
By merchandise, well, there may have been more merchandise earlier in the day. When I left, there was a shirt that said the Mandalorian Experience on it. And then everything was either Star Wars Galaxy's Edge or event merchandise for the Star Wars Celebration.
Okay.
So, but there were also a lot of naked mannequins and empty shelves there. So maybe there's more, or maybe it sold out all in one day. That's not unheard of for these things.
No, it's not.
So someone will be here every night, whoever is available at any given time, because we got a lot going on. So tomorrow we will be at Star Wars. First of all, we've got a lot going on everywhere. We had Luke at Universal today, Rebecca at Kennedy Space Center, Disneyland. Tomorrow we will be at Star Wars Celebration all day. And then tomorrow night we'll be covering from Star Wars Night at Disneyland Park. And then, Jeremiah, you got a full day on Saturday.
Saturday we'll be in Disneyland seeing Tale of the Lion King, which I'm excited for because I hadn't seen that. And, of course, Phantasmic returns for the first time in, it seems like 5 years, even though it was about 2.5 years. So we'll see all the upgrades, and we'll have video up that night, definitely of that.
And I got to see Tale of the Lion King today. I couldn't video it, so that's why there's no video. I have Jeremiah. But I got to tell you, the big improvement, shade. So no disrespect to the cast that worked diligently. They did a great job at Confident Adventure as well. So
that's probably why the cat's
consistent.
smaller.
That's consistent. But and the storytelling continues to be great. But now we were talking, amongst ourselves. We were like, all we remember the show is being miserable. So now you have shade at the. I almost called it the other thing. At the Fantasyland Theater.
Videopolis Theater.
So thanks so much for joining us. Continue. We're going to have coverage tonight. We got Obi-Wan, D23 Disco. We might even hop at the 501st party and see what's going on over there. But and Alex is uploading video as we speak. Which one are you working on right now? Obi-Wan.
This Kenobi. Is Obi-Wan, and then I got video of the announcement of the show with the kids.
Okay.
Whatever that was called.
Skeleton Crew.
Thank you.
We'll be back with Alex's fantastic memory later, and have a great night. Thanks for joining us.
May the force be with you.
And also with you. I'm really good at names, dates, and